Hello, everybody. I'm here with another creepy pasta from my channel. So, let's get into it. The story begins with a bit of world building. The narrator is 21 years old and he's just moved to a new city. He gets an apartment that happens to have a parking spot, but it's in the back of the building behind other apartments, and it's rarely used because it's really far away. The apartment complex doesn't have security cameras or lighting in this back area, so it's basically like a secluded parking lot. One day, our narrator parks his car in this spot, but when he goes out to his car, he notices that there's already a car parked in his spot. So he moves it and then goes back out to see what kind of car it was. It's old and rusted and covered in vines and leaves. And at this point, the narrator is creeped out. It looks like it's been abandoned here and left to rot. But when he tried to open the door to take a peek inside, he couldn't. It was locked and it wouldn't budge. So he just shrugs it off and locks his own car before heading out for the day. When he comes back, the car is still there and it's clearly been there for a long time. Our narrator lives in a warm climate, and there are plants growing up over the hood of the car and weeds growing through the cracks in the windshield. He says the whole thing is straight up creepy. There's no way anyone could be living in that car anymore. And he decides he wants to look around the back of the car, which is parked really far away from the road. It's like the person who owns it wanted to be as far away from everything as possible. The next day, the car is still there. And after work, our narrator comes back with a crowbar to try and pry open the trunk of the car. But it won't open, and he eventually gives up. He thinks about telling his landlord about it, but he doesn't know if it's even worth their time and effort to deal with something like this. So he just shrugs it off and goes to bed. The next day, he can't get the car out of his mind. He keeps thinking about how weird it is. Why would someone abandon a car back here? There's no way anyone could survive in that car. So he goes back again and tries to break into it through the passenger side window. He smashes the glass, reaches in and unlocks the door. But the moment he opens the door, he sees that the interior of the car is completely empty. There's nothing inside. At this point, our narrator is starting to think maybe the car isn't abandoned. Maybe the owner just took whatever they had in the car, and now it's just a regular old abandoned vehicle. And this is where things start to get a little weirder. Every time he comes home from work, he checks to see if the car is still there. At first it is, but after a few days, the car is gone. And our narrator almost forgets about the whole thing until one night he hears a loud bang on the roof of his car. He and his girlfriend were watching TV, and they both heard it. They thought maybe it was a branch from the tree outside. But the next morning, he finds that there actually a large dent in the roof of his car. He starts to panic and wonders if there's someone messing with him. Could someone have broken into his car while he was asleep and smashed a hole in the roof? Then he remembered the abandoned car, and his heart sinks. Sure enough, when he walks out to his car, the abandoned car is parked right where he left it. But it wasn't there yesterday. How could it have gotten there overnight? He didn't see it when he came home last night. And it's clear to him that whoever owns that car must have been the one who hit his car in the middle of the night. But if that's true, why didn't they come and check the damage? Wouldn't they want to see if they hurt anyone? Or maybe that's exactly what they did want. Maybe they broke into his car too, but they weren't trying to steal anything. They just wanted to see what he would do. In the meantime, he ends up driving his girlfriend to work every day because he does unwant to be alone in his car while whoever is breaking into cars is out. Every time he passes by the old car in the back lot, he sees what looks like fresh scratches and dents in the paint. He also starts seeing signs of wear on the tires and new tracks in the dirt. Someone is definitely still driving this car. But how? How could they drive it if the doors are sealed shut? One night, he's driving home and he sees headlights on the road behind him. He turns around and he's pretty sure he passed that car already. But when he looks in his rearview mirror, he sees that the same headlights are still coming towards him. He pulls over to the side of the road and watches as the headlights pass him. Then he looks back on the road behind him and he sees the car. And not only that, he sees the driver getting out of the car to check the damage. But when he looks away for a second, the driver gets back in the car and speeds off. Our narrator decides he's done. He's sick of this game. And the next day, he tells his landlord about the situation. His landlord says they'll send someone out to look at it, and then hangs up. A few days later, the maintenance man comes out to inspect the damage, but he basically just shrugs at the hole in the roof and tells the narrator that if his car is being messed with, he should call the police. And that's all he gets for an answer. That night, our narrator is watching TV when he hears a loud crash. He runs to his window and sees that the abandoned car has crashed into the wall of the apartment building. He calls the police and they come out to investigate. When the officers arrive, they find the driver's side door wide open. But when they look inside, the car is completely empty. The engine is still running and the keys are still in the ignition. The door was left open, but no one was inside. As soon as the police leave, our narrator goes out to his car and he tries the door handle. To his horror, the door is unlocked. He asks himself, how could the car be empty and the door unlocked? Who was driving the car and where did they go? Then he remembers that there's a vent in the ceiling of the car. He reaches up and opens it, and he sticks his head in. The air inside the car is stale and dusty, and when he shines his flashlight around, he sees a pair of feet on the floor behind the seat. He drops to his knees and reaches inside to grab those feet. But as soon as he does, he feels something brush against his hand. He screams and he whips around to see what it was, but there's nothing there. He takes a deep breath and tries to calm down. He knows there's no one in the car, but he needs to make sure. He feels around in the dark, and he feels what looks like fabric. He reaches out, and he feels the distinct shape of a human skull. He recoils in disgust, but he can't help but reach out and touch it again. He doesn't want to believe what he's feeling, but it's real. There's a human skull sitting right behind the seat of the car. He calls the police again, but when they arrive, they don't find anything. The car is empty. There's no sign of a struggle, and there's no body anywhere. They tell our narrator that he probably imagined the whole thing. After all, the car had been abandoned for who knows how long. Maybe he was just seeing things. But our narrator knew what he touched. He knew what he felt. And he never went back to that apartment. So I hope you enjoyed that creepypasta. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. Also, make sure to subscribe. I put out new videos every single day, and I want to thank you all for watching.